And oh my gosh, I almost forgot you guys were there. We're sorry. We were talking. Jeff just started on his rambly old way. Good day, everyone, and welcome back to Car Stereo Talk. Fernando, say hi.
Hi.
So he's out of frame. He's over here. There's a little hand. So he'll be able to take your little questions and do all that. We got a jam-packed show for you. Welcome back to the show, everyone. We hope you had a spectacular holiday season, Christmas, New Year's, whatever it is you're celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
So welcome back to all of that. I'd like to say we got a bunch of stuff done while we were away, but it'd be a lie because apparently the world stopped spinning around the holiday season. I don't know what it is. Like,
everyone wants a break.
I don't get a break though. It's like
I don't get a. My phone rang every day.
It's like, oh, you're not doing something. It's like a hole
Every day.
It's
Constantly.
It's like when you're digging a hole at the ocean.
Yep.
You know, it's like you go, all right, I'm gonna stop for a minute, and then it just fills in. You're like, ah.
So I've learned the thing to do is don't tell people you're going on vacation.
Yeah.
And just disappear. Because if you tell people you're going on vacation, they're going to be like, hey, I know you're on vacation, but can you answer this question for me?
Yeah.
And if you don't tell them, they'll just
don't answer.
Yeah, you know,
they'll go about their business and they'll be like, oh, you know what? The sky's blue. Let me go look at this instead of calling Jeff. You know, it's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's weird. I never called you. I didn't bother you because I didn't want to be bothered.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, typically when it's something like urgent, not really urgent, but when we call each other, it's always either something really funny.
Yeah.
Or is this, oh, you won't believe what happened.
Or I got one of those for you too.
Or it's hey, got a brand new car I've never seen in my life.
Oh yeah, that's
you
right.
You know anything about that?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
What's up, JT?
All right. So before we get too far into this, as always, we do this little thing called the 12-Volt Clean Wire Club. Have you ever heard of it?
I have.
Really? It's. I know. There's a couple people. Anyways,
I need to submit some stuff one day and be anonymous and just submit some stuff.
I mean, that would be cool. Yeah. Why not?
What's that? GAN?
That's a GAN amplifier. So the only people I know that do GAN are Titan.
Yeah.
So is this Titan, Fernando?
Titan or somebody?
That's Terry.
It's Terry.
Oh, Terry Dawson?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Dude, Terry's cool, man.
Terry's going to be in the Clean Wire Challenge at Master Tech Expo.
Let me tell you about Terry. I've only met Terry, I think, once in person.
Really?
But I've seen his work and his videos like every year.
Yeah.
When he was with the previous company in Nashville. Yeah, it's like when you see someone's work and you're just like, I want to know who they are.
Yeah.
It's like him and Dan Wilson from Columbus.
Yes.
Cardio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like I had never met Dan before I watched his videos.
Right.
So yeah, those
Well, Dan competed last year. Terry's competing this year.
Gotcha.
I would have had the two of them compete last year, but I think Terry was between jobs, or he was transitioning.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that term.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, great job. He's gonna have a great time competing in the Master Tech Expo.
He broke his arm not long ago or something. Didn't he?
Really?
I hope not.
He was in a cast for like a while.
Oh, wow. Well, it's okay.
He's better now.
Speaking of Master Tech Expo, 72 days, 7 hours, 23 minutes, and 20 seconds ticking away. If you're interested in going to the most amazing car stereo event ever, you can meet Ken Diggett. Here's your class structure. It's going to be awesome for many reasons.
Do you guys have a code for people to attend?
No, you don't need one right now. Okay. You don't even need one. It's still a discount.
I thought when you register, you had to put in a code. Like,
nope.
Okay.
No, it's still in the. He is trying to keep it as
low as possible.
As low as possible for as long as possible.
Yeah.
So the discount is still there. So
cool.
Yeah,
you don't even need a code. You can just go.
Very
it's
cool.
fantastic.
Very cool.
MSC, of course, Helix and all those guys. You guys, we just like to call it the MSC event.
Dude, that is legit like our SEMA.
Yeah, because between you and Rockford, it's like it's ridiculous.
So being on this side of the stage now, with the seriousness that we put into Master Tech, we started working Master Tech. Like when our summer classes ended, legit. The next day, we started working on Master Tech. Tore the entire classroom down and started building the booth in the building.
Understandable.
It's serious business.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they spend a fortune on it.
Yeah.
So
all the stuff we have coming in, all the vendors we have coming in. What's up, Marty? All the
still got your Gold Forge? Just curious.
Julian, Guy, everybody's coming in, so yeah, it's gonna be.
Oh wow!
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, nice.
Yep. But they came last year, right?
Cicada will be at MasterTech.
Yep. So there's gonna be another little deal, dealer event the day before.
Yeah, we'll be there. I don't know what we'll be doing though. I know, but it's Haley's coming this year. I know. Yeah, I know.
Just get to see some cool stuff before.
There you go.
I know. Yeah.
Mari's gonna send the Glow Force.
What's that?
Glow Forge is coming to you.
Okay, so
here's here.
Yeah,
tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning. Yeah. Oh Jesus! Don't even.
What he said he was gonna send it a year ago?
No. I was gonna buy his as a backup, and I didn't because it was just like
why?
Yeah.
Like we have backup.
Yeah.
3D printers.
I have 3 of those. So
where's the old one?
It's at Fernando's house.
I have it in my house.
I made it.
He has another one.
I have one at my house.
Gotcha.
I might have to learn how to print tonight because I need those panels for that. Checks in the mail. We'll talk later. I don't know. I got to figure it out tonight because that's just killing me. If that doesn't work, then we're dead in the water. Okay, so before we get started in this is a little bit different show. Normally we like to have Jeff on during the week, but we're kind of jam-packed the rest of this week. We have a bunch of other things we're going to be doing, so we brought him in on Monday. So this show is brought to you by the fine folks of Arc Audio, where you can find their new bag lids. That's right. New bag lids are going to be coming your way soon. Make sure to stay tuned for more content throughout the year because I think it's like every week or every 2 weeks or something like that, they're going to be releasing a new product.
Wow.
Yeah. So they got a ton of new products coming out. Marty, you definitely need a backup. So stay tuned for that. Also, this show is brought to you by the fine folks at Focal, Moscone, and Gladen. So make sure to head over to focal-america.com and check them out. And then lastly, our good friends over at Audio Control. You can find them at stingeroffroad.com where they sell packages. This month's package, you can get the Epic Amplifier Series bundled with an Epicenter. So I know it's crazy. So get it all in one. The 2000 with the Epicenter. You're looking at just under $450. Something to check out. You can find that at stingeroffroad.com, or if you just like to do research on the product, you can find it at audiocontrol.com. And I think that's it for right now. We'll, of course, come back to them later in the show at mid-roll just to give them a shout-out. Don't worry, we'll go back to the normal show where you get the cool things at the top. But for this show, we're going to be, they just go right there. It's just like, I don't even know where it's at.
What's up, Andrew?
Yeah, I don't even have one listed. I didn't even make you a cool DSP because this isn't going to be a quick tip. This is going to be a long tip. We're going to be straight tipping.
There we go.
Straight tipping.
Still tipping.
All right. So for those of you who don't know, Jeff Smith, this gentleman right here, has started a new career a while last year, third quarter, second quarter, June, July, August.
Second quarter.
Second quarter?
Yeah.
He is now with our good friends at MSC. We've had his boss on before, Larry.
No, it's not the real one. It's the fake one.
The fake MSC? No, this is not the real. Yeah. What's up, Oscar? And so today we're going to take a look at one of the products that they represent, which is Helix. Some of you are familiar with Helix. It's got they make DSP stuff.
They make lots of DSP.
They make lots of DSP
really cool
stuff.
Speaker stuff, too.
Yes, that.
In the Compose series.
Ooh. Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel it's all of it, right? But anyways, today we're going to talk about the new DSP software. We're going to run it down. We're going to let Jeff kind of whittle our way through this. So if you have a bunch of questions, and I know you do because it's been a couple of weeks since we've done this, I apologize. This was the only time we could get them in here. But don't worry. You can still find us on Instagram, as well as we'll be back Saturday to take all those questions we don't get an opportunity to answer. Now, if you do have questions about the software, feel free to ask. Fernando's typing away in the back, and he will grab your question and pop it up at the appropriate time. Okay, so sit back, relax, and let's let the sultry sounds of Jeff Smith's voice sway us into why he loves the new Helix software.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, baby. Hang on, let me get rid of all this.
No, we've always enjoyed the Helix software. Even from the Cayenne and all the other bills and things we've played around with.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
always just been super user friendly, and when you dig super deep down into it, it's just there's so many features built inside that most people don't even get to use or even understand, even from this standpoint.
Yeah.
Right. So if someone has never owned an Audio-Tech Fisher DSP, whether it be a Match, a Brax, a Helix, whatever it may be, a standalone processor or a DSP amplifier, you can play with every version that is available in demo mode just by downloading the software. And you can select any of from the Brax DSP, whether you run it in 192K mode or you run it in 96K mode. So real quick.
Yes.
Before we even, someone's asked me multiple times, are there two different versions of the Brax DSP? There are not two different versions, but you can run it in two different modes.
Okay.
So 96K mode allows you to run with virtual channels.
Okay.
If you run it in 192 mode, that processing goes into higher resolution.
So no virtual channels?
No virtual channels if you run it in 192K. So 192K will be the output resolution. You can run full tilt, right? The highest resolution is 192 through that DSP completely through.
Then why would you do that?
If someone wants the
high resolution,
highest resolution that they can run all audio completely through that DSP. Like if you don't want to,
do we have an amplifier that has like a Toslink input or something?
Yeah, the Brax DSPs.
Okay, no,
I'm sorry, the Brax amplifiers.
Okay, yep. So then that would
coax input, and that's the other thing. The Brax DSP is completely customizable, so you can get analog input, digital input, Bluetooth, HEC input, USB audio input, and then on the 12 outputs, you can custom build it to either be RCA, coax, optical output.
Okay,
and then you have the dissect output that is digital unity gain basically over the amplifier, so that way as you turn the volume of the DSP up and down with the conductor, it legit turns the gains of the amplifier up and down at the same time.
Okay.
Complete control. So when you turn their volume down, your amplifier gains would go to zero.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty cool.
Sounds like a Chrysler.
Ryan Kramer, that's my guy.
What's up, Mr. Bennett? Okay, so
all right, so some from the first screen here. So a lot of things that people don't know, even from the main screen here, is a lot of these functions at the top are completely usable. So the DSPs can be connected to via USB or via Bluetooth. You can program the unit via Bluetooth without having to plug in USB. The Wi-Fi module is no longer available. If someone still has them, they can plug them in and use it.
Right.
But Wi-Fi is not a piece you can still currently buy.
Okay.
So within the arrows here, that's your connection mode. Within the gears is where you can find a lot of the really cool stuff to adjust your image resolution, to factory reset the DSP, or to force like ACO updates or install the drivers or anything like that. So like if you, as an installer, if someone comes to your shop with the Brax, with any Helix DSP or Audio-Tech Fisher DSP product, you can go in and save everything before you destroy the whole car.
Oh, okay.
Right? So you can literally just press this button and save every file that's in that machine before you have a mistake and wipe it clean.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, that makes sense. That's cool.
Totally.
Yeah.
If you need to change the language to, be Dutch or whatever you would like it to be, right?
Okay.
If you want to reset the software, you can just hit the reset button here.
Okay.
Then this is going to be all your shortcut keys.
Yeah. Okay. You need to send me that.
Shortcut keys are really cool, but I'm telling you, man, there's some of them that are just so easy.
Yeah.
The easiest ones to use are the F keys and 1 through 0.
Sure.
Those are the ones you're going to use the most. 1 through 0 are your mute channel keys.
Right. Yeah.
On any product, whether it's an amplifier or DSP, from Match to Helix to Brax, those are all your quick keys and mute keys.
So how do you mute channel 12?
I'll show you.
You got to hold 1 and 2?
You watch.
You got to hit 1 twice? Shift 1?
If you need to mute any of these, you go Shift and then the then the number.
I'm glad it's red, so it makes it really easy to see what you have to press.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job.
You can't read that?
No, I cannot. Okay. It just looks like a line. Like,
yeah.
I'm looking over here going, no, I still can't read it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You go shift in 1, shift in 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All
So
the
that
way
makes
up to 20.
All right. That makes sense.
22,
Well, that's
whatever,
useful.
maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
Then this guy here. These are the files that are built into the software for automatic time measurement, for input gain setup, for your input analyzer, and for RTA.
Okay.
So
you can import more files into it, right? No. Yes.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
This is for you to take these files and download them to a thumb drive.
Oh, okay.
To then play into your OEM system.
Perfect.
To be able to DEQ your factory system or to figure out the input gain.
Okay.
You know, everything from a factory system. So on that thumb drive, of course, you can add whatever you want.
Oh yeah.
But you're going to have mono pink noise, stereo pink noise, your pulses, and your different variable pulses for your time correction.
Okay.
Right. So all that stuff is built in there. So everything you need other than a USB is right here.
That makes sense. Cool. That's good.
Then, of course, the website, you can go directly to Audio Tech Fisher website. And then the bar menu is going to be all the change logs. So if you go, man, they just came out with brand new software, like what's different? You can literally press that button and it will go into the Audio Tech Fisher change log and show you everything that changes or that has changed.
Yeah, give it a second. Click on that. No. Just click on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then hit it again.
Hit which again?
Well, I'll just go back. I get what you're saying. It's a glitch in the matrix. There you go.
There we go. Yeah. So every time there's a change in the software, you can literally click this and
that's
see
useful.
What changed every time.
Okay.
And it's been this way for years. So literally you could go back. Remember when we were doing the Cayenne?
Yeah.
I mean, like that was 2 years ago, 3 years ago at this point?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can literally go back and look at any of the versions all the way back in the 4s. You can go back and look at all of that stuff to see what's different, and then to be able to go over and explain all the different features when someone goes, what is, RTC? What is AISA? What is, DLC? So all these different things someone can really educate themselves if they just take 5 minutes to go in and read.
The new dynamic loudness control.
Yes.
Yeah. Active EQ.
Remote level EQ.
Yeah.
And then signal related. So whether you're using a controller, you can adjust. You can have those dynamic EQ curves.
Okay.
Or if you're doing it from a separate input source,
right?
As you turn the volume up in the input source, you can cause those EQs to activate as well.
It just gets turned up for voltage.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Exactly.
That makes sense.
So
very nice.
Yeah. So how many of these? Let me close some of these because we have too many versions open.
Yeah.
So that's another thing is that. So what if you have multiple DSPs in a car? You can run multiple iterations of the program at once.
Okay.
So if you have 4 USB ports on your computer, you can have 4 DSPs run at the same time.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah, let's not do that. But
no, I mean, good on you. I'll call you.
There's a reason, because I'm really glad that works, because I have a reason to have two 10-channel DSPs running at once. So
I mean, you should just have a 24-channel DSP.
Well,
I'm just saying.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. One day.
So, and the other thing is that you can even simulate any of the extension cards.
Okay.
So you can literally come into here and choose which one of the extension cards you want to simulate in that particular amplifier.
Now, why would you do that?
Because if you want to see how to set up, let's just say you're doing a OEM upgrade and you're using one of the up amplifiers, right? So let's see one of the very popular, like up. Let's go up 8.
Yeah, I was going to say
right?
up 8.
Up 8. And up 8 only has 6 channels of high level input.
Yep.
And you want to add an additional set of high level inputs.
Okay.
So you would add a mech analog in.
Okay.
So that's going to now give you 8 channels of high level in and 8 channels of audio out with a 9-channel DSP.
So you'd want that so when you're setting up the software, it's all how it's going to be once you actually plug it in.
Correct. Or if you just want to take the time to learn the software, you can see how each one of these cards can work different things within the actual software itself.
Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yep. So a really neat thing about the mech analog card, we'll talk about this later, but that has 2 channels of high-level audio input that are up to 32 volts of input,
Wow.
RMS. So you have your BMW underseat woofer channels that we all talk about. It also has the ADEP3 technology. So you're going to have your load resistors and your Class SB functionality on those additional channels as well. Mm-hmm. And it also has a 3.5 aux input. So you'll have an additional audio input as well.
Can it differentiate between the aux and the high level? So technically it's 2 sets of inputs?
Yes, but 3.5 is not 32 volts of input.
No, but it's still a line level input.
Correct.
So like if you wanted to route some noise into it, you could.
Totally.
And it has a volume control.
Radar detector,
that's what I'm saying.
OnStar.
Some noise.
Yeah. A Zune.
You need a backup cam. No, you need your dash cam. So when it goes, have a great day. Whoa!
Yeah, exactly. So this gives you that ability. It also gives you all the information about your DSP that you're going to use. So, like, it lets you know the resolution of that DSP, the sampling rate, everything before you even start. So, if your customer wants to know, hey, I have a FiO that is 96K capable. I have a, whatever Android device where I have this. I definitely want to use aptX, and its resolution is this. Then if you use this particular DSP, its resolution is going to be 48K. If you want to go to something higher, you go to like a Pro MK3, right. Its sampling rate is 96K. So you can literally look and explain to your customer, well, this is why I'm just not trying to sell you a more expensive piece. This piece actually has higher resolution than the other one you were actually looking at.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's helpful.
The Helix DSP Ultra, what is the resolution on that one?
The Ultra is going to be 96K. Okay. And then the new Ultra S is still 96K as well, but it adds a lot of the new features. Like it takes you from control port.
No, S.
Yeah.
Oh, S.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, it updates to a lot of the new features for the DSP going from the Ultra to the Ultra S.
Okay.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And the cool thing is that every piece works off the same software.
Yes.
You don't have to have multiple versions of the software or different types of software. Like there's no Brax software, there's no Helix software and Match software. It's all the same PC tool.
Yes.
I like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I feel that's what everyone has finally figured out.
Yep.
Which is nice. All right. What are we going to pick today?
I'm going to pick probably one of the fan favorites that most people don't know about. I'm going to say the V18.
Oh, you want to go that big, huh? Okay.
You want to go normal?
No, go for it. Let's go, Chief.
No.
Let's go
normal.
No, let's go 18 because that's. I mean, it's only an hour long show.
No.
So
okay, let's step back. Let's go to.
Why don't we just do the V8?
Okay.
I mean,
you guys have that in stock.
That seems to be a. Well, I mean, it's what is it? An 8 to 10 or 8 to 12?
It's a 8 to 10.
So 8 to 10.
8 to 10.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So the first thing it's going to ask you is if you want to activate virtual channels. And a lot of people go, what are virtual channels?
Mm-hmm. Myself included.
Okay. So imagine you have your head unit.
Mm-hmm.
You have your amplifiers. Okay. Old school days, right? You had to have your EQ first. Then you had to have your electronic crossover.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Then if you wanted to have any additional sound processors, whether it be an ESP3, whether it be an Epicenter, whether it be whatever,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
It had to go in the middle before the amplifiers.
Mm-hmm.
So the DSP has an input DSP to correct all your input signal, do all your gain adjustments and everything else.
Right.
It has an output DSP. Most people know about output DSP.
Correct.
Okay. The virtual channels is a third DSP that goes in the middle.
Okay.
And it does all of your special effects. It does your center channel processing. It does your bass augmentation. It does all of that stuff. It's another DSP right in the middle. The only thing it doesn't do is crossover.
Okay.
So you can do additional gain settings. You can do additional groupings, to do your like an entire front set of speakers, an entire left channel, right? It does your what's the word I'm looking
for?
Global.
Mm-hmm.
It does your global EQ, and you can do some global volume adjustments.
Well, let's take a look at it.
All right.
All right.
So we're going to say yes. And once it says yes, you definitely want to go over here and choose virtual channels. So even in this graph, it's telling you that you are going to have your input signal, your input EQ, your input analyzer. Now, this is where your input virtual channel processing will go, your center channel processing, your subwoofer processing, and then you're going to get into your output DSP.
Okay.
Okay, so it's literally 3 DSPs within every unit.
Okay.
Okay, so if you don't want to use virtual channels, it doesn't take anything away.
Right.
You just won't have bass augmentation, and you won't have center channel processing, and you won't have those.
What about rear channels? Does it do anything for rear channels?
Yes, it'll do rear. The rear field thing will still work, but it works even more within virtual channels.
Okay, well, let's take a look.
All right,
let's go down the road.
So if you are doing virtual, right? So it literally tells you here, your front channels is everything that can be affected from front channels. Stage expander, clarity expander, stage EQ, real center, right? And then the bass side of it would be your dynamic bass enhancement, sub expander that will add those additional lower octaves.
Okay.
Right, into the mix. The virtual channel just gives you that much more flexibility, especially when we've talked a million times about having global EQs.
Yes.
Right, in order to be able to tune the entire car at one time, or an entire side of a car at one time.
Right.
Because when most people come into the output side, they see this and they go, "Oh, this is too much." Right.
Yeah.
So literally, once you have a system that's front left high, front right high, front left. So if you have a 3-way set, 2-way rears, and then subwoofer or center, however you set it up, you have to go in and you have to manually EQ each individual driver. If you come over here in the virtual, it just says front left full. Front left full includes every driver that is denoted as a left channel. So it'll tune the left tweeter, left mid-range, left mid-bass, all within one EQ.
Okay, so we're skipping ahead. Obviously, we're selling it. Let's go back to the input-output setting because that's where that's where the
confusion happens.
That's where the oh my god! All right, so this is the part where you really have to pay attention.
Okay, so give me a car.
So we're gonna take a
so we can
let's keep this simple, and we're gonna take a head unit that has four outputs. So we're just going to do a non-amplified factory radio. So we're going to do a Bronco. Huh?
Yeah, power. I just said battery.
Oh, yeah. Let me grab that. We're going to do a Bronco, a base model Bronco.
Base model Bronco. Okay, cool. All right. So base model Bronco is going to be 4-channel high-level input, and it's Class SB. So every Audio Tech Fisher device, of course, is Class SB compliant. So we can work with anything Class SB.
And this will also work for your F-150.
Yep, F-150, your Lightning, any of those. Even the Audis and Volkswagen that have those really low ohm loads and everything else.
Yeah, and 4 channels of output. Yep.
Okay, so the biggest thing is telling the DSP what you're doing with it.
Yes.
And where a lot of people go wrong and get confused is they don't tell it, I'm not doing this.
Okay.
They only say, I want to do this. So if we're doing 4-channel high-level in, that means we only need inputs A through D. So you come in here to E, and you tell it not assigned.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Come in here, F, not assigned. G, not assigned.
What, are you doing a fast key?
No. Oh. I'm just double-clicking here. This drop-down menu is here, and you press N, because not assigned at the top.
N, fast key. Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, not assigned.
Yeah,
so now there's no possibility for you to bring
those in.
These channels over here.
Okay.
Right?
So just delete those.
My right click isn't working.
I just hit delete. Delete.
Oh.
Whoa.
So if I click this and go delete. Okay, I've never done that. I always right click.
Sorry, man.
It's all right.
It's a Windows thing.
All right. So
there's not a deselect all feature.
No.
Oh, that would be way too cool, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So next time, bro.
So literally you have your 4 channels of high level input coming in.
So front left, front right, rear left, rear right.
Correct.
Perfect.
So then you have your virtual channels over here because this tab says main to virtual.
Yes.
These are your main inputs coming in from your OEM radio. So your 4-channel high level input.
So we're going to, since it's 8-channel, we're going to do a set of 4-inch coaxials in the dash, but we're going to bi-amp them. So 1 through 4 is going to be the 4-inch.
Okay, so you're already jumping over to outputs.
Okay, sorry. See, and that's
So
what
hold
happens.
on.
Okay,
So hold on.
So
So you only have 4 channels of input.
Yes.
So we need to feed our virtual DSP.
okay,
So we're going to give it 4. Front left is going to go to front left full. Front right is going to go to front right full. Rear left and rear right are going to go to those virtual channels full.
okay.
Your Bronco has an option for center, but we're not going to do center.
Yeah, because it does. The base model doesn't have it.
Correct. Then we do have center channel. So we have subwoofer. So with
Yes.
subwoofer, we want non-fading subwoofer.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means we're going to put all 4 of our inputs into our subwoofer to make it non-fading.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And then we'll do that on both subwoofer 1 and 2. So you have stereo left and right inputs to
our mono amplifier.
Right?
Yeah.
So now you can see that within your virtual channels, you can see that rear attenuation is going to be available for your rear speakers.
Yeah.
And then your subwoofer channels have subwoofer RC, subwoofer remote control,
Yeah.
and then subwoofer FX for those sub channels to receive sub expander or dynamic bass enhancement.
So since we didn't put anything on the front center and the rear fill,
What do we do?
What do we do?
We go down, in, not assign, and shut it off.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Come here.
So real. Oh, yep. You went too far. Rear. All right. So rear. Let's talk about rear fill full.
Mhm.
What is that?
So rear fill full is going to take left and right,
Okay.
sum it together,
Yep.
and pad it down. Well, you can adjust the volume of it, but it's not. It's going to do the inverse of what the rear stereo would be.
So is the reason for that if I wanted to put a channel on center and I wanted to use a channel on rear?
Correct. So you could literally take a set of mono speak. You could take a single channel and put 2 speakers on it in the rear, and you could just call it rear fill full.
Right.
And you would get a mono sound. You would get both speakers playing same information.
Okay.
Right.
And so then you would feed that with input
both,
C
both
and D.
left and right rear.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense.
So let's just say if this was a different car,
yes,
just like we changed these, you can double click these and change your inputs as well. So if you're coming in with an amplified system, you can name your inputs as well.
Okay.
These are the things when we have classes, I really try to teach people, name your inputs and name your outputs.
Of course.
So that way this will stay clear to you and anyone else that comes behind you when you go in to install a system.
100%.
Right? So here, 4-channel high-level input for your front and rears, and your 4-channel high-level going into your subwoofers at this point.
Is that a new feature on the analog input to name it?
No.
Okay.
No, it's been there for a while.
Okay.
What is really new, though, is this new user-defined. So now I can go in here and call this Dean's BAM.
Well, BAM. Well, it's supposed to be Dean's BAM driver.
Yeah, like you can literally go in and name it.
Okay.
Where it says user-defined, you can call it whatever you want.
So when you call it user-defined, now, okay, so this is why these don't have anything to do with crossover, because these aren't affecting the crossovers. These are this is just all paperwork.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
This is where I want certain things to happen.
Okay.
If I'm going to have a center channel, I need to feed it both channels. If I'm going to have rear fill, if I'm going to have all these sub controls and things like that, I need to have that ability. And V8 is potentially going to drive either the whole system or it's going to drive your front and rears and then an output to a subwoofer amplifier.
Which is what we're going to do in this one.
Okay. So if we're going to do that, then we're still good here.
Yeah.
Right. We're still good here.
Right.
All right.
So we just need to turn everything else off, or
yep. We can turn everything else off. We can go here and go in for not assigned, and this guy here to not assigned.
So why would they? Okay, we need to turn off rear fill full. So why would they have the virtual the outputs here, as opposed? Is that just so I can take all 8 inputs?
This is here. This is so you can send, because you have a DSP in the middle.
Right.
So you have your input signal coming into your input DSP.
Right.
So you have to then feed that into your virtual DSP. And then your virtual DSP has to feed your output DSP. Right. So imagine you sending RCAs from your Kenwood head unit
Right.
into your EQT.
Yeah.
Then out of your EQT, it went into your epicenter.
Right.
Then into your whatever, your
Yeah,
ESP2 or whatever. Then
crazy.
out of that into your 4XS. And then out of that, finally to your amplifier. This is just all the special stuff in the middle. The special processor in the middle. Yep.
All right.
So now we're going to say now virtual to output. Since we've already figured out the signal coming here,
Let me move this up to here so we can take a look at
now
that.
we need to go in and tell it what we're doing. So you want your front speakers to be biamped, right?
All right. So just to recap on virtual inputs, virtual A front, virtual B front, virtual C rear, not assigned. So that just carried over the last page.
Correct. Because
okay.
Here we were going main to virtual.
Yep.
So our mains are over here, our virtual's over here.
Yep.
Now we're going virtual to output.
Okay.
We're on the other side of the virtuals now. So tell me what your system configuration is.
So A and B are going to be tweeter.
Yep. So they're front left high, front right high.
C and D are going to be
mid ranges.
Mid range.
Okay, so front left mid, front right mid. Okay.
And then
mid basses
are going to be the next two.
So we're going to make this front left low, front right low. Okay.
And then rear is rear. So the 7 and 8 are going to be rear speakers.
Low. All right. This is going to be rear left full.
Yeah.
And rear right full. All right. And then our outputs are subwoofer.
Yes.
Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to delete. Crap. Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm not used to this.
I know. Sorry, man. It's Windows, bro.
All right. Delete here. And we're going to delete here and delete here. Now you see it just took away the rear attenuation over here because we have 6 front channels now. So we need to feed all 6 of our front channels front information.
Yep.
Tweeters, mid-range, mid-bass, all have to see front information. Now our rears need to get virtual rear left and virtual rear right. Now this has reappeared here.
Mm-hmm.
And then our subwoofer has our subwoofer channels, so you can have sub control and sub effects. Now the rear attenuate.
That's through the
that's through the director or through a conductor, so you can actually have volume control over your rear speakers without using the fader in the vehicle.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So if you're not using one of those, then that doesn't do anything.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Fantastic.
So now we've completely done all of your input routing.
Yes.
So we know exactly how this is going to come in and how it's going to go out.
So for any of you out there that are thinking about getting a Helix, go back and watch this 6 times because this is where you don't spend a lot of time though, because everyone gets to the fun part,
to the output side.
Right. So, but this is the most important. This is why I always call you.
Yep.
Because of this. So
right. But if you were doing a different system,
yes.
If you were doing a system that was strictly channel for channel, this is a new feature here. Can you move us?
Yeah, of course. Hold on. Yep.
Here,
not that one.
The apply input output routing 1-to-1. If you were doing a 1-to-1 system with a V8, a V12, or a V18,
so if we're doing like a Chevy, where we're gonna just do channel 1 and 2 are our middlers, 3 and 4 are mid bass, rear fill, sub, or if we're gonna do something that has a tweeter mid bass
from factory, and you're just going channel in, channel for channel.
Okay.
You literally would come in here and press that button, and it would do it all for you automatically. And you were done with this in 30 seconds.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
Yep. So if you're doing a system that is definitely 1-to-1 routing, don't go in and change everything. Go in and press that apply 1-to-1 routing, and it's all done for you in 10 seconds.
And that's just that one final thing, right?
Everything from input to output will be done for you. So everything we just did will be automatically done for you. If this is only a 4-channel amplifier,
right,
it would be completely done for you.
I think we need to go back and show this.
Okay. Well, hold on.
Okay.
Let's
show? Let's
continue this for 2 seconds.
Let's not.
So if we've already done our inputs, we've done our virtual, now we've done our virtual to output routing.
Yes.
Okay. So since this is a non-amplified Bronco, we would then come over here into our I/O for our input analyzation.
Yes.
So you would use Advanced Input Analyzer, and this would go in and allow us to analyze the factory signal. We can see the factory EQ curve that we can DEQ. We can see factory all-pass filters, factory crossover points. We can see all that information. So this is your key lock built into your software.
And if you actually like to see it better, head over to DNF Tool Drawer where you can find the IRTA2 and just feed that out of your subwoofer output and plug it right into your iPad. You can actually see it in real time as opposed to...
Someone asked if Crutchfield carries Audio Tech Fisher DSPs. They carry the Match DSPs. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
The Match DSP amplifiers.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah. They used to carry Helix back in the day, but now they only carry the Match.
Which makes sense. Yep. Yeah, it's an easy thing. Okay, so
this part is where you can literally go in and create the ability to DEQ your system.
So let's talk about DEQ for a second. Okay. So this does not do... This does equalization.
It does DEQ.
So EQ. All pass.
Yes.
And time.
And time delay.
It does all of them now.
Yes.
Didn't before.
It didn't before because this is when we were using input signal analyzer. Now we're talking advanced input signal analyzer.
So they added the little blue box and that changed everything.
So remember before when we used to talk about it, you'd be like, I hate this because it's this really long drawn out.
Yeah.
Right. No.
Yeah.
Right. Now it's like instant.
Okay.
So literally there is like, you'll see your input signal. You see how much voltage is coming into the vehicle's audio signal.
And so then you drag and drop the signals. So where it says.
Yep. So here there would be a graph of whatever you're sending into it. Right. And then you would press tune EQ, set EQ, and it would correct your signal back to the graph that you want.
And it'll
so you have up to 7 bands of equalization to use per channel.
Right.
Okay. So it automatically defaults to only using 6 bands. Ask me why.
So why is it only using 6 bands?
Because it leaves 1 band open in case you have to use it for all pass. But if you go in and analyze 2 channels and see that you do not have an all pass, you can then go back and change this to use all 7 bands.
Okay. So in order to test for all pass, where this box says front, left, full,
you would bring in 2 channels,
and
then you would compare left to right to see if there's an all pass. You would literally see it in the RTA graph up top here.
Right.
You would see your all pass appear, and then you would just go in and select whatever EQ band you want, turn it from being an EQ to all pass.
It doesn't automatically put the number in there. Like, does it automatically go, it's 240 hertz?
It will show. You can look to see where the dip is.
Yes.
And you can bring your cursor to it, and it tells you what frequency it is and what the deviation is.
Okay. So it's close to a key lock.
It's close, yes.
Yeah.
It's 95.67% of what that all pass fixability is. Right? So here you can also tell the EQ where you want it to adjust to. All right.
Okay.
So if you look at your frequency response, because we know the rear channels of Bronco, unless you've gone in with Forescan and adjusted turn the high pass off, it's only from 100 hertz and up.
Correct.
Right. But if you look at the majority of the EQ bands within that graph, the majority of the work is going to happen between 300 hertz and about 6K in that Bronco on the rear channels.
Okay.
So you would literally come into here, you're tuned from, and you would tell it 600 hertz to 6,000.
And this becomes very useful when you're doing a dedicated de-equalization on, let's say, a tweeter or a mid-range or a mid-bass. There's no reason to go from
20 to 20.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Right. It's going to try to fight stuff and waste EQ bands when you need to use the EQ bands.
To do so you would let it run its thing, and then you would see where the min max is, so to speak, on the where your bandpass crossover is.
Correct.
And then you just choose between those and let it do its magic.
So what is Craig saying? That nearly hidden IO button is the only thing that really needs to be addressed. That should be in its own tab, not buried. Well, it is in its own tab. When you're in IO here, when you're in the IO menu here, so if you want to deal with your input-output equalization, that's what these EQ bars here are for. and you press that, and you get into this menu.
Yeah, I think I get what he's saying.
Yeah. I mean, there could be we could have
27 bars across the top of if each. We're trying to. I get the consolidation.
So I'm going to go ahead and start the petition for a sequel, because after MasterTech, we're going to do this all over again.
Which is fine. Yeah. I think what we're talking about here is the most important part of, because there again, I do way too many DSPs, and this is the stuff I get hung up on.
Yep.
And so to me, this is where it's very helpful.
Yep.
So
another really quick thing.
Yes.
Is if you have two channels here, when there's only one channel.
Oh, and I want to add too.
When there's only one channel, you see input delay, but like, what are you delaying against?
Yeah, you have to have two channels.
Yeah, when you have two channels, there is when you can actually delay from one channel to the other channel. Once you go into the software and adjust your settings, you have the ability to turn these things off and on, whether you want to see the graph information. When you're in the graph information, if there were two signals playing, it would give you a time delay difference.
Oh, and you just type that number.
So it would tell you what that difference is, and you can go into the bottom, and you would see the comb filtering. Mm-hmm. And as you apply that number, you can either see it move to the left or move to the right. You want to always see it move to the right.
Yeah.
If it moves to the left, that means there's not enough time delay. If it starts moving to the right, you're getting closer and closer and closer to the delay you want. And then if you go too far, you'll see that time delay really start to screw up. So you really want the comb filtering to go away. So as you add that, it would go in and fix that. So the information on the screen also tells you what frequency. So if this was your incoming EQ graph from your OEM head unit, you would see what frequency, you would see your gain, you would see the phase, and you would see the actual output gain between those frequencies. So it gives you all that information right there. It would tell you your factory crossover slopes, your factory crossover points, and everything all in the software.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So the one thing that most people, if they own Helix or Audio-Tech Fisher DSPs, the one thing that they do need for this to work is that Behringer UCA 222
Yes, audio the little red box.
Yes, that gives you the ability to do the loop back. For
some reason, I magically have.
Yeah, that little piece gives you the loop back feature, which is here. It's telling you to connect the output of your DSP amplifier or your DSP and create a loop back into the system. So that allows you to create a reference against the incoming signal, so you know something's too high, too low, or there's an actual all pass or whatever else.
Yeah. Which I think the next time we'll do more of a we'll show that. We'll do an active. I think right now we're just touchy feely trying to get an idea of what all this is. What I was going to say is in this update they fixed the scroll, because you're scrolling down to see the bottom of this. Is the first time I've ever seen I've never seen this before.
Oh, okay.
Remember, because I was always having problems. I could never. I've never seen this bottom of this before.
Yeah, so you can press D as well, and D will take away the frame of the screen.
Yeah.
So you can get a little bit, and the screen size matters too. But yeah, the scroll on the side allows you to see.
Yeah, I've never been able to see the bottom.
Yep.
One other thing too, I want to point out. If you'll notice at the very bottom of the page, there is these numbers. It's where it says
time machine.
That is your backups.
Yep.
So it is constantly backing the system up as
every minute.
Yeah. Yep. So, and you can click back on those and it'll reload it to where so if you're like, man, I've been going down this rabbit hole and I don't want to do this, you just click back to, 5-6 minutes ago and you can check that out. All right. So now the one thing about input EQ is that you only need input EQ if you're using a factory high level input. If you're doing something that has RCA, such as an Amp Pro, a Zen module, an iData interface, an aftermarket radio, all of this is kind of like you get a pass.
Yep.
You get to pretend
it doesn't
like
mean
it's
you
not
can't
even
check
there.
it. It just means that it's probably not going to be needed.
No, if you just want to see what's coming out of the radio you're putting in, just to validate, for sure.
Yep.
For sure. Like if you're having an issue where you're like, I think the channel's low. Like on a interface module, like I think like the left channel is low.
Yep.
This would be where you could check that to see if it's, or if you think there's some kind of.
Yep, I had a dealer who was using a off-name brand, something he got off of eBay, Amazon,
No way.
a Bluetooth streaming device.
Oh,
and he couldn't understand why his high frequencies
Sucked?
just didn't sound good. And I'm
No
like,
way.
well, Bluetooth's not the greatest, but hey, you know what? We can run it through the input analyzer and see whether, and it literally cut off above 10K.
yeah.
It was just.
Well, it's like
Wow.
USB,
Above 10K.
aux to USB-C adapters. Anything with a USB-C adapter, you really have to buy a good one.
Yeah.
Well,
I've only ever used the Apple one, so.
Well, no, that's because we tell you to use that. That's the only one that's 20 to 20 that we tested.
Okay.
Although we've bought some new ones that are really expensive. So.
And they work well?
We haven't had time to test them yet, but
Gotcha.
we're looking forward to testing them sometime this year. Because the Apple one it's great, but it's not the most reliable thing on the planet.
Okay, while we're here in this screen, move us to the other side.
Of course.
This is where we see DLC, dynamic level control.
Okay.
So once you go in here and dynamic level control, see how it's grayed out?
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as you activate it, it turns green to let you know that you've now turned it on.
Okay.
So if you get into a system that someone else is tuned and you don't know if it's on, if it's illuminated, then you'll know it's on.
Okay.
All right. So dynamic level control is as the factory, whether it's analog inputs or a hex card input, as that voltage changes, you can then set for high and low boosting or cutting so that you can create your own dynamic loudness curve, or you can do the inverse to deactivate the factory loudness curve.
So this is on the input
side.
So you would use this, let's say, in lieu of Acubase.
Yes.
Okay.
No need to continue to add additional pieces external to the Audio-Tech Fisher piece. You could do all of this stuff internal. So it can be high volume or low volume booster cut. You can adjust the threshold, and you can also adjust the frequency in which you want that to actually work.
So this probably works well on like motorcycles.
Yeah. Or in any vehicle that has, the Bose roll up, roll down, speed control volume, and everything else. You could totally see how this adjusts. Right.
Okay.
Yep. So you could literally go in and adjust these guys and then give it how much of a boost you want, how much of a cut you want, and then adjust the input threshold so you know exactly where you want it to turn off and turn on the low side and on the high side. You could tell it to do low volume. You want to boost that bass and treble back up.
Yes.
Right. And as you turn the volume up, you want to bring it.
So how does it know what voltage? Is it just a predefined voltage?
You set your voltage threshold. So literally you can come into this while you're playing your system.
Yeah.
Right. Because you can use something as fancy like a IRTA2. Some guys I know sell that piece.
Yeah.
And you can see on the volume where your voltage is and where that actual EQ or dip comes from.
See the boost.
And then you can come into here and you can figure out your threshold and you see where it actually activates.
Okay.
Right. And then you have the ability to adjust that.
That's cool.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think next time we do this, we'll have all this hooked up so that we can actually demo it.
I know someone that has a Volkswagen Taos that we can probably get in.
Yeah, but
probably just
he's in Orlando.
At least look at Eduardo's car's got like all this fancy Brax stuff in it now.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I know another guy.
Yeah.
His name's Sebastian though. He's got a cool one though. So He's got a kid seat in the back and everything. So.
Okay. All right. So let's keep moving this along and let's take a look at the virtual channels. So let's go back to virtual channels. So now we've got.
So we've set all our input outputs up, right? So from here, we technically could go into our input gains, right? So are we going to use signal sense or are we going to use a switch, an ignition wire?
We're going to use signal sense.
We're going to use signal sense. So what we want to do if we're using signal sense is we want to give this global priority. So that way, if anything comes in, if a blinker sound comes in, if Bluetooth comes in, anything else, we're going to make it turn on automatically via signal input. And if we bring this down to negative 80 dB, think about this. 0 dB, negative 80.
Oh, yeah,
That's like the mosquito fart, right? You want it to turn on, right?
Yeah.
So you would bring it as far down as you want. So it's the most sensitive at negative 80 dB. And then you set your turn on trigger So how many seconds you want it to stay on, as long as you have negative 80 dB of information. So if you set it to, my kind of go-to is 15 seconds.
Okay.
So when you, after 15 seconds, if there's no sound, it'll shut off.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Then you have the ability on this particular amplifier, you have standard gain pots, or you have actual virtual or digital input gain
pods.
adjustment.
Yeah.
So you can adjust it from, go to standard here, and you can adjust it from 4 volts of input all the way down to 1 volt of input, or you can say, nope, this is a high powered system.
Yep.
Up to 32 volts. So from 8 volts to 32 volts, and whether you're coming in on high level or RCA input.
Okay. Now I would strongly recommend using the DSP to do this and not to put the gains on the side. That's just
correct.
silly.
The DSP is way easier. It's super easy to use.
Yeah.
Yep. Use your multimeter to figure out your input voltage, right? And this is kind of another thing is if you can use, not everyone has an oscilloscope, but a lot of people have a multimeter, right? We have an oscilloscope built into the software. See this little sine wave here?
Yeah.
When you are clipping the input to the DSP or the DSP amplifier, that sine wave will go from green to red, and it will show a square wave.
Oh, cool. So just the little icon.
That little icon will flash and turn red to show you when you're actually clipping the unit itself.
That's nice.
Right?
That's nice.
Some of the other amplifiers, like the match amplifiers that are designed for upgrade,
yes,
for OEM, that's what they
plug in.
Plug in, or can be hardwired. They actually have a full advanced input gain section that you can actually see the entire green bar go all the way across. You see how much voltage is coming in. You can see when that clips and everything else. So it's an oscilloscope for your input built directly into it. We have input gain and output gain clipping in the software.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So we're not adding an external Bluetooth card. We're not adding nothing else. We're just going from the factory radio directly in.
Boom.
Okay, so that means we need to leave digital input disabled, and we would leave your HEC card disabled.
Correct.
So that's another thing. HEC, MEC, and BEC are MEC, match extension card, Helix extension card, Brax extension card.
There we go.
Right. They could be Bluetooth inputs. They could be analog audio inputs. They could be USB audio for high res input. They could be all types of different these plug-in cards that would go into the amplifiers.
Okay.
So that people are always going, what does this mean? What is a HEC card? What is
exactly.
Yeah. So they're just the extension cards.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So now that we've done all that, we know how we're turning it on. Now do you want to set your crossover points now? Or you want to go straight?
No, I feel like we should probably set up the crossover points pretty quick.
So we're going to go in and we're going to hit these two little orange boxes at the top. So it's going to set these two channels at the same time.
Correct.
Okay. So the software already has safety net crossovers already in place.
Yes.
So it already has 32, 37 link widths, 24 dB per octave already set up.
Which is probably
we're
fine.
talking about we're doing a three-way coax, two-way coax on the dash.
5,000.
So 5,000.
Okay, go 4,000. Whatever turns out, bro. I don't want to blow the tweeters. They're little tweeters, man.
Yeah. What speaker are you using?
A 4-inch coaxial.
Okay. All right.
It's got a little tweeter in the center of it.
All right. You know what? I'll meet you in the middle. How about 4,500?
Okay, that's fine. I just don't ever want to see it again.
Then we're going to do their two mid-range drivers. So we're going to go 4,500 there. Input. All right. Now, here's another quick key. You ready?
Yeah.
L for low pass, H for high pass.
Okay.
Right. So if you're in the software,
right,
you can go H high pass.
Yeah, I saw it.
L for low pass.
Oh.
Right.
Nice.
Then you can just tab down
within
those.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna go 400 on the bottom.
Sure.
All right. I'm gonna make it 24 dB as well. And then our mid bass driver is going to be 400. And where you want to go? 70, 80?
80. It's a Jeep or a Bronco.
Okay.
It's a Bronco. All right.
Yeah,
Customer's abusive.
Yeah, and it
Wow.
if
50.
you can put it at 50 all day, you're not going to get. I don't
That
know
guy's
why.
coming back.
Yeah. That guy's. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can put as much energy into that.
And we're
kick
putting
panel as
4
you
inches
want.
in the rear. We're not doing the
4 inches in the rear.
dumb 6.5 in the rear.
No.
All right, cool.
No, God.
My guys.
Oh, why would we do
My
that?
guys.
It's so stupid.
So we don't need a low pass for the rear, so we're going to turn this off. We need a high pass for the rears.
Correct.
And it's going to be another 4-inch, so we're going to make that. What do you want in the back? 100?
Yeah.
Let's do 110.
110?
You want to go higher?
No, that's a weird number.
I like 110.
Okay. All right. I've never. Okay.
I like 110.
You probably like Raising Cane's too, huh?
No, never been there.
Raising Cane's?
Yeah, he likes it.
Oh my God.
No, sorry, man. I'm a Chick-fil-A guy.
That's right. Chick-fil-A till I die, baby.
Yeah.
God's chicken. All right, 110. All right, so that's your rear. And our sub, we're going to go 80 and down.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not worried about upfront bass, so I'm going to make that a Butterworth 12 dB because I want this to hammer.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
I'm going to make this. I'm not worried about upfront bass.
Okay.
So I'm going to put it at a 12 dB so I can have that thing just get that little bit more.
Why wouldn't it hammer it?
I just want a little bit more, man. I want it to breathe.
I get that you want it to breathe.
I know.
Let's raise the frequency instead of changing the topology.
Okay.
Ask me why.
Please explain why, Jeff.
Okay. So if we, what was that?
Right.
Oh, there you go. Brian Mitchell, Chick-fil-A. It's time to go get.
For some reason, he heard Chick-fil-A. He's let me pop in.
It's Jeff cracked him, so made him a crack addict.
That was probably the.
Yes,
that was the most grown man smile I think I've ever seen from Brian in my life.
Oh yeah, for sure.
From getting that lemon milkshake thingy.
Yeah, yeah, he's still addicted to them. I mean, dude, every time we get picked up, we got to go get it. All right,
so within the audio graph, the P on the side, that's
phase.
your electrical phase.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So if we look at the electrical phase between the front mid bass drivers and the subwoofer, we're all at Linkwitz 24.
Yep.
We're all in phase.
Sure.
Right.
Yep.
So as soon as you want to go over here and go Butterworth 12 dB, now our front mid basses and our subwoofer are no longer in phase.
So just flip the phase on the mid bass, call it a day.
But you're always going to be out of phase from each other with one at 12 and one at 24.
Okay, go ahead, make yourself happy.
All right. So let's go back to 24 here.
Okay.
And let's go back to Linkwitz here. If you want a little more wham out of your subwoofer, just take it up to 90.
I'm just going to put a punch bass later. I'm just going to go.
You're going to turn the DLC on.
I'm just going to go 45 hertz.
Yeah, there you go.
Wide Q, turn the bitch up.
There you go. And be done with it.
Yeah.
All right. So now we've set all our crossovers.
Yep.
Right. Now you want to go back and talk virtual?
I want to look at virtual for a couple minutes. We got a couple more
So now
minutes.
that we've set this up, now you can see. What's up, Lance? I talk to Lance all the time too. I literally pulled over on the side of the highway Friday night to talk to Lance about this.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Lance does a lot of really cool systems, and I talk to him on pretty frequently. Okay, so virtual channels.
Yep.
So our input signal from our factory radio.
Yep.
Then we're in our input DSP. Now we're in our virtual DSP. This is our output DSP.
Okay.
So everything that happens in our virtual DSP here is going to affect anything that is called front left if we have front left selected. If we go front right, every channel is front right. Anything that's rear left, it's going to be rear left. I mean, everything just like that. So if we want to select both, come here and link these two guys together. Now we're going to global EQ the entire front of the vehicle with this 30 band paragraphic EQ paragraphic, right?
I like it.
So it comes set up as fine EQ, which is technically a graphic EQ,
right.
But you do have some Q adjustment. If you really want to go full parametric, you can go full parametric, and you can go completely silly with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it has some basic Q adjust.
Correct, but it only lets you go as far as you want to. between the EQ bands.
Right, which is usually pretty.
It's enough.
It's enough.
Yeah, it's enough for most people. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're just trying to be the guy that does it in 2,
Yeah.
In which case, I need this. Now, okay.
Now, hold on 2 seconds.
Yep.
So this entire EQ band, now let's go back and unlink them.
Yes.
So now we have virtual left that's going to have tweeter, mid-range, and mid-bass.
It's full bandwidth.
The full left side of the car.
Correct.
Now, we can flip the phase of the entire left side of the car.
Hold on, let me pull this. Okay, so right there.
We can flip the polarity.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's get the right word here so we don't have the church guys all mad at us.
Polarity and phase.
Yeah.
Phase is acoustical, polarity is electrical. I'm sorry, phase is acoustical, polarity is electrical.
Sure.
Right? So we can invert the entire left side of the car if we wanted to.
Okay.
Right? We can then go in and also delay the all 3 channels at the same time as well.
So this is another place where group delay is at. So instead of going back to delay and fine tuning it, you can just do it here.
Grab all of them at the same time.
That makes sense.
Yep. And then you have level adjustment from -30 to +5 for the entire side of the vehicle.
Okay. So that makes sense.
Yep.
So there again, this saves you from having to go back into the time page, which is here, and adjusting it there.
But you could also come here and see it as well.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yep. So channel mode outputs or virtual.
So this allows you can go back to virtual. So this allows you to stay and spend more time in virtual to do, Right.
So let's go back and let's set this back to 0. And I want to show you why I'm setting this back to 0.
Yeah.
So at the very top of the screen, you see how virtual is like all the others?
Yes.
As soon as you make one adjustment, now virtual turns green at the top.
Because it's active?
Because now it's active. So if you get into a car behind another installer, you don't know where things are.
Oh.
If you see that virtual is green, that means something is active within that virtual tab.
Oh.
Right. Something's been turned on.
Okay.
And as soon as you put it back to 0, it would go away.
Okay.
Right.
So my typical workflow for this is once I've gotten past all this, I go to the EQ and I go painstakingly in EQ every, because you're paying me for time.
Yep.
So I'll EQ the tweeter, the mid bass, blah blah blah. Now, if you don't want to do that, because there is argument to be made that you don't necessarily need to do that.
Not for every customer, no.
No. You could just live in the virtual and tune left side, right side.
Yeah.
And I can show you how to make it even easier.
Well, that's with the microphone and a magic button.
With the microphone and the magic button.
We'll save that for next time. Yeah.
Yeah. Tune EQ. So you can have your target curve and you can literally go in and see what the response is of that tweeter. You can adjust, just like we adjusted on the input side, you can do it on the output side as well. Even though you set your crossover at 4,500, if that tweeter plays only down to 6K, you can adjust the curve of it so that it only EQs that 6K area.
Right.
And then you could adjust your crossover point in that same screen and everything else. So output equalization is just as fast as input equalization. You can legit tune a car in less than 30 minutes and be done with
it. And there you have it, folks.
So much more. But yeah.
It's got a lot of buttons.
It's got a lot of buttons.
It has a lot. Yeah.
A lot of buttons.
That's not even started.
And what's really cool is that this is built into every DSP and every amplifier. Even the little 5.4.
Right.
So you've seen the little Match 2.1. Remember when I brought that little guy?
Mm-hmm.
That little bitty 2 channel?
Yeah.
There's a 5 channel that's the exact same size as that.
I think we have one of those.
That has...
Yeah, we have one.
It's...
Yeah, that little 5 channel. It's
35 or 45 by 4 and then 160 by 1.
Yeah, we have one.
And then it has 4 channels of DSP out of it as well.
Yeah. Wow. I still haven't figured out what I'd use it for. I know. It's just one of those.
No, I mean, honestly, you could do a car with it.
You could do a front stage upgrade with full DSP for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's as long as you don't need a ton of bass.
Yeah, it depends upon what you use for bass.
Like I said, a very efficient subwoofer.
A very efficient dual or single 2-ohm subwoofer in a vented enclosure.
Yeah. I know somebody who makes those.
I know a lot of people who make those.
That would be Audio Control makes one of those, that's for sure. And of course, so and we'd like to thank them for being a sponsor of the show tonight, along with our good friends at Arc Audio.
Is there room on that wall for some match amps and some? I think there's space over there for some. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm gonna have a conversation with
We have room in the show.
Comp RT. No, that car is gone.
Yeah, that car had a bad day.
That car got totaled last August. That Camry with the it was actually L7T subwoofers.
If you'd like to know more about how that accident happened, you can find out more information about that if you head over to our good friend's podcast. Why am I? What's Clifton's podcast?
Oh, SQology?
SQology. Yeah. Just look for the SQology podcast.
Did you talk about that?
Yes, he does.
We talked about that.
So Jeff Smith talks about it. If you'd like to know even more, you could listen to we did one this week.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to it yet, but
I heard. I haven't
had a chance. I didn't even realize
I was doing lots of driving the last couple of days, and I caught up on a few of them. I caught up on Howard Cantor, who's the him and Robert McIntosh own Mask.
Yeah, I just listened to all of them. I have no idea what they're
Harry
talking
Kimura and a couple other guys. But I try to catch up with that when I'm driving. So
real quick before we go, don't forget to head over to arcaudio.com. Check out MasterTech Expo. It is coming fast. If you haven't gotten your tickets, now is the time. Anyone is welcome. Focal-America.com, as well as head over to Stinger Off-Road, where you can find the sales right now on the Epic combos with the Epicenter. How cool is that? And of course, if you'd like to know more, you can head over to Audio Tech Fisher, where you can find out all the fun things about
.com.
Yeah, audiotechfisher.com.
You can download this software, start playing.
And a lot of people don't know about our website, but since we are the importers from North America, it's msc-america.com.
And the nice thing about going to that page first is it gets you to the English version of the Audio Tech Fisher page.
Yep, and you can also do the dealer locator and find dealers in your area.
Yes.
Yeah. Because when you go to the global website, the U.S. dealer thing is, we're working on that. But if you just come to MSC-America, we're here in America. It's a lot easier.
And you can
see
go.
What Oscar said.
Yeah.
Trying to cause trouble.
Yeah, I just ignore him.
Yeah.
He's got glasses on. He's hopeless. Yeah, so sad. It totally threw me off too. I was like all set and ready to just like boom. Well, hey guys, that's it for the show tonight. We hope you enjoyed this. Like we said, if you had questions, and obviously we didn't get to them tonight because this was a special event, we hope you enjoyed it. If not, I'm sorry.
We'll be back.
We'll do it again with more in a couple months.
Yeah.
But we'll be back Saturday to answer your questions. We'll be here Friday morning with the news. And, of course, you can follow us on Instagram. If you haven't caught up and followed us on this guy, this is the 911 that we're doing right now. So definitely want to check that out. We're kind of doing it live on Instagram, taking you through the – I know. It's Raptor art just got so dirty. So make sure to check that out. And for right now, that's all we got for you. So we're going to end it there. And as always,
bye, guys.
Thank you, Jeff. Bye.